Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's a pleasure to be here today and moderate this important panel. I'm Liron Atias, Deputy Economic Attaché at the British Embassy. As you heard before from the British Ambassador, Simon Walters, earlier, I'm also part of the UK team driving economic growth between UK and Israel. Alongside my embassy role, I also lead on IWB, Innovation Without Borders, a diplomatic community with one job: to connect between science, trade, economic, and business attachés and Israel tech and business ecosystem. In the spirit of international collaboration, today's panel will explore Israel trade and investment opportunities with the United States, Singapore, and Canada. Let's begin. Galit. The US remains Israel's closest ally and biggest trading partner. Can you please tell us where are the most promising opportunities for Israeli companies seeking to succeed in this competitive market?
Thank you, Liran. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to everybody. Happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me. America is the land of the endless opportunities, but I would like to focus on, as a typical Israeli, three major ones for 2026. The first one is the defense tech, which we all saw a very impressive demonstration during the war, and also a lot of the companies saw it and willing to acquire companies in that area. And we're not just talking about the big one, but also the small. A lot of new technologies, emerging one, and this is something they're looking for. Second one goes without saying, AI, but specifically about AI security. Israel, again, is a cyber tech nation, and now the shift is moving to AI. Also in the chamber, we have a few startups that start to emerge in this area, and AI security is going to be a very hot topic. Look, all the multinational ones, Cisco, Google, Microsoft, investing billions of dollars in establishing R&D centers in AI security. So this is definitely something is going to be a major focus for the US one. And the last one, which is connected a bit, is the energy. All those AI computing needs infrastructure, which is high energy consuming. America companies, VCs are looking for smart, efficient solution for energy. So this is in a very short.
Brilliant.
Action.
And moving forward to Sin Tien, Singapore is often described as Israel's strategic gateway to Asia. From your perspective, why should Israeli companies prioritize expansion to Asia, and where do you see the strongest demand for Israeli innovation?
Thanks, Liron. I think let's talk about numbers, first of all. I think, half of the world lives in Asia, right? You have 3 of the world's 4 largest economies in Asia, China, India, and Indonesia. So these are also countries, not just these 3, but, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and so on. These are also countries that are very keen to modernize their economies. So, you're talking about agri-tech. They're looking to modernize their agriculture. Robotics, they want to improve their manufacturing. You also have, health tech. These are areas that they're all looking at. Maybe for Israeli companies, Asia is very big and complicated and hard to navigate. So what we want to say is that Singapore is the best place for you to expand into Asia. And I want to give a few examples so you can see how other Israeli companies have done this. So most recently, last month, Monday.com, they opened their office in Singapore. And this is going to be their office to expand to Southeast Asia. You also have eToro, the trading platform. They also opened their office in Singapore in July this year. And both offices, eToro and Monday.com, are headed by Israelis. And then I have to say that, I'm surprised that Asaf Granit hasn't opened a restaurant in Singapore yet, although Eyal Shani has. So we have Miznon. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Christian, Canada is a strategic go-to-market for Israeli tech companies with a strong tech hubs, R&D incentives, skilled talent, and stable business environment. In your view, what are the key opportunities that Canada offers for Israeli companies looking to expand globally?
Toda Liron. I think you listed some of them right there, but I'll say I'll focus a little bit on the environment in Canada right now. We have excellent tech hubs that are spread across the country that offer fantastic opportunities for Israeli startups, companies, and others. We have a large one based between Toronto and Waterloo, which is the largest hub in Canada, the third largest in North America. It focuses on a wide array of industries and sectors, including AI, cyber, fintech, health tech, clean tech, etc. These are clustered around major Canadian STEM universities that are really leading on the cutting edge of future technologies. Outside of that kind of core cluster there, we have really interesting also regional expertise. So on our far east coast in Halifax, they've developed a really interesting cluster around ocean tech and blue technologies. In Montreal, we have a very vibrant ecosystem surrounding gaming and digital media. And in Western Canada, in our province of Alberta, we have tech clusters around energy tech, clean tech, and health technologies around Calgary and Alberta, and many other exciting opportunities elsewhere. I would probably want to just also flag low operating costs in Canada. I think is a big advantage to Israeli firms thinking about a gateway to North America. We've got generous R&D incentives, new tax credits, etc. But probably the opportunity and thing I would underscore the most is our talent and our people. We have a very highly educated workforce. I believe the latest statistics I read showed Canada had the highest percentage of adults with a university or college degree at 63% of the population. So I think all of that together presents a really attractive option for Israelis, companies, firms, researchers, etc., that are looking to expand.
Very appealing. And now that we understand better the opportunities, let's dive into each of you, the chambers and embassies, how you can support the Israeli companies looking to expand globally. If you can list your services and your support. Please, Christian, starting with you.
Sure. So at the embassy, we're a team of 7. So we have 7 officers led by myself that are working to promote trade between Canada and Israel. We've been at this for a very long time. So I'm part of what's called the Trade Commissioner Service, and Canada actually sent its first trade commissioner, so commercial attaché. Commercial counselor goes by a few different names, but we sent our first one out to Sydney, Australia in 1894. So the Trade Commissioner Service has been ongoing for over 130 years. We are supported also back in Canada, by a network of regional offices that are dotted across the country, and those offices are focused on identifying new and emerging Canadian company talent, innovation, and are looking at opportunities to plug that into global markets. So we're really proud of that network, and think it has a lot to offer Israel. And I guess I would also just flag that a lot of our trade activities are underpinned by our free trade agreement. So Canada's had a free trade agreement with Israel since 1997, coming up on 30 years soon. It was modernized in 2019, and without question, this free trade agreement for Canada far outperforms trade agreements that we've struck with similar-sized economies around the world. So it's been really beneficial for us, and we're always looking to do more under that framework.
Thank you. Galit?
So the chamber is basically Israel-America Chamber of Commerce, is the leading organization to promoting the economic relationship between Israel and the U.S. Among members, we have over 150 members, which is all the multinational, Microsoft, Google, Chevron, Amdocs, Teva, even Strauss is one of our members. Also, pharmaceutical company, institutionals of research, VC, and many of the startups. We are independent organization, not related to any government, private one for the sector, working very closely with American counterpartners in Washington, only to promote the businesses for the Israeli companies.
Cynthia?
So the Singapore embassy is very small. Christian has 7 people in his team. I have 7 Singaporeans in the entire embassy. But we are small but mighty. It's a small team, but also a small country, which means that we know everybody. So, no matter who you want to connect to in Singapore, we're happy to help, whether it's a potential investor, potential customer. If you want to talk to Israelis who are living and working in Singapore, like the ones that I mentioned from eToro, Monday.com, TikTok, Google, Amdocs, Signia, CyberArk, many more. We're happy to talk. We're happy to make the connection. If you want to talk to the chief rabbi, I can also make the connection, but I'm not sure that that's a requirement.
Brilliant. So the next question is forward-looking. Xintian, I understand that Singapore government plans to invest in the national R&D agenda. Could you please share what types of prioritization it's supposed to do in the upcoming years, what it means in terms of opportunities for Israeli companies?
Yeah, sure. Maybe let me just zoom out a little bit to explain that, I'm sure many of you would already know, but Singapore is a small country with limited natural resources. So like tech is super important for us. R&D, education, all these things like Israel is very important for us to overcome our natural resource constraints. So what the Singapore government does is that every 5 years, we issue a plan called the Research, Innovation, and Enterprise Plan. So basically, when you look at this, it tells you where the Singapore government is going to put like billions of dollars for the next 5 years in R&D, tech, startups, and so on. So the next one is coming out soon. It will be for 2026 to 2030. It's not published yet, so I can't confirm the full details, but I can tell you roughly it's going to include things like deep tech, especially in energy, because, we are currently energy disadvantaged. We import a lot of energy from our neighbors. 2, health tech. We have an aging population, and we need tech to overcome our manpower constraints. 3, AI applications. 4, quantum computing. So fairly straightforward. And just keep a lookout for the details if you're interested.
Sounds great. Christian, Canada recently held elections a few months ago and brought a new government to power under the leadership of Prime Minister Mark Carney. Can you please tell us some of the changes that the new government has brought in promoting how to do business in Canada?
Absolutely, thanks. That's indeed the case. So we, under Canada's the Carney government, they recently passed a budget that was described pretty broadly in the media as very pro-trade, pro-business, and I think that the current government is very focused on diversifying Canada's trade agenda. Prime Minister Carney has said that, as part of the budget, that our goal is to double our non-U.S. trade within the next 5 years, which would be roughly around an extra $300 billion in new trade opportunities for Canada. At the embassy here, we see tremendous opportunity to do much more with Israel in that regard, and it's a long-standing trading partner and close friend and ally of Canada's. But within the budget, there were some very specific sectors that received a lot of attention. So one was AI. So we've established a new AI ministry in Canada. It's supported by a budget of about $1 billion over 5 years. The goal is there are multiple goals for that department, but one is to scale AI across the government of Canada, across Canadian business, and to really boost productivity within the Canadian economy. So that's one. I'd also note quantum received an interesting amount of attention in the budget. There was a new fund that was set up, $330 million over 5 years, to advance Canadian capabilities in quantum. And I was up at the Technion a few weeks ago and spoke with them, and they're already and have long been doing some very interesting research, joint research at the University of Toronto and Technion in quantum. So the partnerships are there, and we're really excited about the opportunity to expand those even further. So yeah, I would just say very much a strong focus on investing in Canada, investing in broadening our trading relationships.
Sounds like great opportunities. And Galit, Make America Great Again, strengthening the U.S. competitiveness. How do you see that influencing on the opportunity of Israeli companies considering setting up and doing business and partnerships between Israel and the U.S.?
So like the previous panel said, Trump is a businessman. He's looking for ROI. So this is his main focus. And actually, 1 month ago, I was in the White House talking with the administration over there from the trade, commerce, the national security advisors, and everybody wants to do business also with Israel. They acknowledge that we need the booster after 2 years of a war. They acknowledge the R&D centers, the technology that we have here, and they also want to try to see how much they can help. Also, the ambassador Huckabee the ambassador to America that is sitting here in Israel, is working extensively to bring governments delegation. Only in the last 5 months, there were 6 or 7 delegations of governments that are seeking really in a very active companies and willing to give a lot of benefits for those companies operate from their states. We're talking about Michigan, Arkansas, South Dakota, and basically more and more benefits for Israeli company operate from there. We can keep the R&D here, but then we can actually use the workforce in those states. So we see a lot of acknowledge of the Israeli mindset, but they want to keep the workforce in America, but they're willing to do a lot to making sure that we also get benefits from that.
Thank you. And finally, each of your country has a unique value proposition for Israeli companies today. In one sentence, what takeaway would you offer the audience here as they consider Canada, Singapore, and the US as a potential trade and investment destination?
Well, I would say Canada's open for business, that's for sure. I'd say we offer a stable and growing economy. We offer world-class talent and infrastructure. We offer significant trade and investment incentives and unmatched market access to global markets. We're in a pro-innovation environment right now, and it's really geared towards building trade partnerships geared towards the future.
Brilliant. Cynthia?
What I want to say is Asia is big, Asia is the future, and Singapore is your best gateway to Asia because no one in Asia understands Israel as much as Singapore. Some.
Bravo. Galit?
What can I say after that? Make America greater. Again, in the chambers, I'm not representing the country, but in the chamber, we have all those forums for, I mentioned, AI security, defense tech. We're looking for companies that want to do business and successful one. We have the connection, and we also have the support of the people in Washington and here in Israel to make the businesses support our economy, the Israel economy. We're really looking and need that, and we'll be happy to assist.
I want to thank our wonderful and engaged panelists and all of you for joining us. The dialogue just begun, and I want to thank Calcalist and Discount Bank for this profound event. We're looking forward to 2026 Global Conference. Thank you.